Hello and welcome. My name is Kira, and this is episode 1 of Let's Talk About, which is a new series on everything that I wish I had known as I was growing up, meaning from the ages of, I don't know, 0 to, let's say, 16. What is it that I would have wanted to have talked about? Let's start with the big one. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Why am I starting with this one? Because I had a wonderful conversation with a friend today about this very topic, and it made me think about the fact that over the years I've had a fair amount of conversations with people who I don't think had as much, I don't know, has much comfort with this topic as I do. And maybe they didn't have an outlet as anybody else to speak with. And thus, that conversation would end up being with me. And I can't say why I know more. I can't say I know more. But what I can say is I'm open to this topic. And it is a topic that I would have liked to have known more about when I was younger. That I think really everyone should be taught when they're younger. So when it comes to sex education in school, totally for it, but not exclusively in the school. I do believe this is very important for caretakers, whether parents, grandparents, whoever is responsible for the children, to actively go through this with their kids. Various levels at various ages, appropriate for various stages. But definitely, this is necessary. They need to know more about sex than just the biological how-to. They need to know about repercussions. They need to know about the emotional impact. We need to know as young people, and because if you don't learn then, how are you going to learn? It becomes more awkward to talk about then as we grow into adults because we have these ideas of, oh, I can't ask that because, well, probably I should already know that. Or uh, what's that going to say about me if I ask about this or if I talk about that? Why is this a taboo subject? This is the 21st century, not the 19th or the 18th. This is something that is an all natural phenomenon. And if we can open up this conversation, then there's so much that can change by the way of respect and all the hurt that comes from mistreatment in this topic and in this area and in this zone. That if people really understood all the aspects of what this is, then I just choose to, I want to believe that really there's possibility for things to be better. There are lots of ways that you could broach the subject with kids. There are books out there, and if there aren't, consider being the one to write it. There are also experts out there that if you are not sure how to broach this subject, then get help. There's absolutely no shame in yourself asking somebody else, a sex educator, on how to have this conversation. You're going to be seen as progressive parents, and in a conservative environment, that might not be seen as positive. But for your children's future, I'm going to say that it is. And whether you are talking to boys or you're talking to girls, There are certain things that need to be equally spoken about. Guys need to learn about female bodies and female processes. And women need to understand how men think in regards to this topic, right? And the fact that they can be impacted as well. We tend to think, okay, it's not emotional for them, but it's not true. That's not true, right? So we want to know, I mean, not we want to know, I want children and to know the impact that this has. Think of the importance it can have on their safety, their health and their safety. This is a tragic fact, but in Korea, there's such a thing called the N room, I believe it is. And there are predators that are using this secrecy against young women such that they will get them to send maybe a provocative photo, and then they use that to blackmail them into doing more things, doing things that are assaults, that are trauma, and they use the shame against them. And they're able to do that because that shame exists. They don't feel, it's not something that's talked about. It's not something they feel they can talk to their parents about, their mom about, their friends about. And so that secrecy is used against them. That shame is used against them. When there is no shame in talking about this subject, then so many people can get help, because so many people will see the signs of unhealthy behaviors and they'll not go too deep before they can get out. Consent is another issue that both genders need to understand. There's so many elements to consent beyond just verbally saying no with a single 2-letter word. There's so much more to it. There's just way too much for me to say in this short video. But I want to impress upon you that let's talk about it. I'm also going to include in this video information a link to a show that a friend of mine, a radio show that a friend of mine does every Monday morning, 10 a.m. PST, called Sex with Robin. And she is a sex educator, and she has a wealth of knowledge about so much: sex, kink, polyamory, all of these things. And I encourage you to check it out. Another person I follow, another sex educator, Dr. Jess, is on Instagram, and you can find her as well, Sex with Jess, I believe, or just a couple of people that I am familiar with. And they're, they can do things virtually in the global world that we live in, but I'm sure that there are people who are local to you as well, or closer to you anyway, if that's what you would like. Educators of children, parents of children, caretakers of children, guardians of children. This is episode 1 of Let's Talk About, things that I believe is important for children to know. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time with me, Kira, on Let's Talk About.